This is Chris Elliott with Remax Action Real Estate coming at you today with your April 2018 market update. So as we do, I always want to start you off with a couple statistics from this past March, which is the numbers that we currently have. So average sales price is actually up just shy of 6% from this time last year, which is always great. End of month inventory is down a little under 25% from last year. So that means there's less homes that were left over at the end of the month in March of this year than there were of March of 2017. Month supply of inventory is down to 1.71 month supply of inventory. We've been kind of hanging there, a little under two months supply of inventory. And pending sales are actually up 31% since February, which is to be expected. We're kind of in that bell curve of the market going upward. So what does this mean to you as a buyer or seller of real estate? So as sellers, we talked about it last month. One of the things that I'm seeing, and we kind of see this always in hot markets, is a lot of sellers get lazy or they kind of don't adhere to the fundamentals of selling real estate and some of the best practices to get the most for your property. So what we'll see is sellers using agents that don't market homes well, not really doing the correct staging items to prep the home so it shows well, grossly overpricing properties. And so here's the thing, in this hot market that we're in, a lot of those properties will still sell. The question that leaves though, or the thing is, a lot of those properties are not selling for the full amount that they potentially could. So one of those things to keep in mind, you may still have success in the fact that the property might sell, but it's probably not going to sell for the most amount of money that it possibly could, and you're really not taking full advantage of this hot market that we're in. So one of the things that we're having to look at and encouraging my clients to look at, and we're seeing across the board, is properties are getting bid up. People are seeing multiple offers on the properties. One of the things that you always have to do as a seller is when you have multiple offers is to really weigh not just the price, but also the terms and the financing behind that deal. We're seeing a fair amount of properties fall out under contract, and a lot of what's happening is properties are getting bid up and up and up. Buyers are saying, hey, I'll give you $5,000, I'll give you $10,000, I'll give you $25,000 over asking price. But really what you got to look at is if that property doesn't appraise for that price, if the folks are getting financing, where does that leave us? Are they going to be able to make up the difference in cash out of their pocket? Because we're seeing properties fall out of contract a lot of times for that reason. And then also, not just the price they're giving you, but how likely is the deal to close? If somebody's got 20% conventional financing, that's a much different picture than somebody that's going, FHA at 3.5% down, or they're doing a VA loan or a USDA loan where they've literally got none of their own money in the deposit, or the down payment rather. So something to consider. Another thing that I'm looking at with some of my clients, if we know we're going to get ourselves into a multiple offer situation, or we find it highly likely that we're going to get multiple offers on the property, you might want to consider a delayed reviewing of offers, meaning, hey, we're going to list the property on Friday, we're going to start showings on Friday, but we're not going to review any offers until Saturday evening, Sunday evening. What that allows you to do is it gives enough time for those offers to come in, because a lot of times what will happen is somebody will try to jump in front of the property and offer you a price, the first day it hits the market, and you might potentially get more money if you hold out and wait for those offers to get into a bidding war, or maybe the second, third offer is going to be higher than the first one that you received. That's a trick that banks will use with their foreclosures when they know they're going to get multiple offers. So something to keep in mind. Also, something to keep in mind if you're thinking about selling this year. I know it's just the start of April, but what you got to realize, we are actually in the peak of selling season right now. April is really the month that kicks everything off. And keep in mind too, we only have about another 3 months of the meat of the market. So you've got April, May, June, July. Really at the end of July, a lot of the markets tend to slow down, especially the higher end markets, because those folks are very school centric for the most part. And if they haven't found something by then, a lot of those folks just kind of turn off the search and say, hey, honey, we're going to wait till next year. We don't want to have to move the kids mid-school year. So something to consider. If you're considering getting your home on the market, I would encourage you to go ahead and do so sooner rather than later. So for my folks that are buying, as I've been saying probably for the last year and a half, my heart goes out to you. It's definitely not the easiest time to buy right now. Rates are great, but inventory is low. Really helps when you're on the selling side, but make it a little tough when you're on the buying side. So a couple tips for you guys. As we talked about the last couple times, you definitely want to have your financing in order. This is not something where you want to find your dream property and then go get that figured out, because more than likely by the time you get the financing piece figured out, that home's already gone. So you definitely want to get your pre-approvals, have a competent lender, go over your different financing options with you so you know what you can do there, and you've got all that tucked away and ready to go. So that way when that good property pops up, you're ready to act on it. Another thing too, is to get creative with the terms of your offer. We're seeing a lot of multiple offer situations, and a lot of times you can only go so high in price, but what you can do is get creative with the terms that you're offering. So we're seeing folks waive a certain amount of the inspection items, saying, hey, we're going to waive the first $2,000 worth of items that pop up on the inspection report. We're seeing folks go over asking price, but then guarantee a certain amount that they're willing to pay out of pocket if the property doesn't appraise. So, hey, I'm going to pay you $5,000 over asking price, and anything, I'm willing to pay $2,000 of that $5,000 out of pocket if it doesn't appraise, or I'm willing to pay the whole $5,000. You can do escalation clauses. That's a whole nother video. But talk with your real estate professional and really see, hey, what can we do to get this property if we know we're going to get ourselves into a multiple offer situation? You might even want to game plan ahead of time just to discuss what terms you'd be comfortable with and maybe some that you wouldn't be. And last but not least, this is kind of a thing that I'm doing for a lot of my clients that are buying, and they say, hey, Chris, we're not seeing any properties pop up. We're not seeing any inventory pop up, and it's not that property's never going to pop up. It's just that there's not too many of them. There might not be any of them for a couple weeks, couple months, but you want to be ready when that perfect property does pop up. So what I'm doing for these folks is I'm saying, all right, let's take your criteria, and not only let's look at what's on the market, but let's look what's currently under contract and homes that have sold within the last 12 months. Now, this is something you're going to have to do in the multiple listing service, or an agent's going to have to do for you. But what I'm doing is pulling the last 12 months of sales based on my client's criteria, emailing it to them so that they can review that, see what those properties look like. Number one, make sure that what you're looking for actually exists, and there's properties that exist out there with that criteria. But also too, it allows you to get an idea of what your money will buy you, what neighborhoods, properties that you're looking at are going to pop up in, what neighborhoods you like, what neighborhoods you don't like. And really what it does, allows you to get a pulse on the market, so that way when that perfect property does pop up, you have the confidence to go ahead and make an offer, because you know that it's properly priced, but you also know that's what you're looking for. And it's just something that allows you to have that confidence and know that, hey, that property is going to pop up, and we know exactly what we're looking for. So when it does pop up, we're going to be ready and confident to go ahead and put an offer in. So anyway, I hope that helps. I look forward to seeing you guys next month.